Well, so there you go, the exclusive chats with Chief Gani Adams, the Ariel no Kakanfo of Yoruba land, on the very recent agitations for Yoruba Nation. This is Firecrackers, wherever you're watching from around the world. We are live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria. I am Kelly Egiga. Now, we'll shift our attention now to something else. It has to do with Nigeria's kidnapping industry. It does appear that things are growing even worse, as just very recently on Friday night, we understand 8 members of the Redeemed Christian Church of God were kidnapped on their way for an evangelical program. But that's not the latest. The latest is that the kidnappers are now demanding 50 million naira as ransom. Let's cross over live to Kaduna State, where Reverend Dr. John Joseph is standing by to speak with us, Christian Association of Nigeria chairman in Kaduna State. We are also joined by the chairman, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN Cross River State, Dr. Lawrence Ekwok, live in Calabar. Well, men of God, I'd like to thank you most kindly for joining us on the program tonight. Dr. Lawrence, thank you so much for standing by for so long now, Dr. Lawrence. Let's begin this conversation in Kaduna, where Dr. John Joseph Hayab is with us as well. Dr. Hayab, we are back at it again. 8 members of the RCCG kidnapped, 50 million naira as ransom. Has this made the position, or let me just go straight, what's the position of the church to these kidnappings in very recent times?
Yeah, thank you very much, Kelly, for beginning and calling it the kidnap industry. What is really going on is that the kidnap have become a very serious business, a very lucrative business, a very attractive business to those who are doing it. But it is adding pain, sorrow to many families. We have been crying about this kidnapping for quite a long time. Sadly, those who are responsible to securing people choose to play politics about these kidnap matters. And the kidnap keeps growing every day. People are no longer safe at home. They are no longer safe when they travel. They are no longer safe anywhere they go. Kaduna, every day on the news about kidnap, today 39, tomorrow 8, another day 10, another day 5. Is that the way people live their life? I've always advocated that when we don't stop insecurity, we don't address insecurity, people will never be productive. A fearful man, a person who is living in tension every day, cannot think, cannot plan, cannot articulate, cannot bring anything good to the table. So our government must sit up. What is going on around us? We just finished a prayer with pastors this afternoon, and one of the things we discussed simply is we are being governed today in our state by media statements, as if media statement is what will stop the kidnappers or stop the bandits from operation. The bandits are not even afraid. They don't even take our statements to be anything. What will make them know that enough is enough is when we back up our statement with action. Our government is not acting enough. But every day we release statements as if this is what will chase the kidnappers, and nothing has changed.
Well, Dr. Lawrence Ekwok in Calabar, the PFN chairman, Cross River State, what do you make of the recent kidnappings? I know the South has not been badly affected, but there have been pockets of kidnappings in Calabar. I understand very recently, the chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress in Calabar was recently picked up just early last week. For the second time, he's been kidnapped.
Okay, good evening, Kelly. Which one do I begin with? The one in Kaduna or the state of kidnapping in Cross River State? Hello? I don't know if you're hearing me.
Okay, go ahead with your thoughts, please, because I lost your audio for a moment.
2 questions in one. Talking about the kidnap of 8 redeemed members in Kaduna State, I would describe it as unfortunate. Unfortunate because it has got to a point where people cannot walk about freely anymore. People cannot do what they are led to do. People cannot evangelize. People cannot go about freely. It's unfortunate that our country is in a situation that people now live in fear. it's unfortunate. As for Cross River, yes, the case used to be far worse than it is today. But by the grace of God, I think the introduction of Operation Akpaku or something like that has drastically reduced the speed of kidnapping. It was far worse than this a few months back. But as for the kidnap of the chairman of Nigeria Labour Congress, I do not have so much details, but I hear of accusations and counter accusations. I hear some people saying that it was an arranged thing. I don't know about it. I hope that they will sort that out.
Dr. Lawrence, let me stay with you very briefly for a moment before we cross over live to Kaduna again. In all of these very recent attacks, how has this had a negative impact on the church, for instance?
It has, because I give you an example. In Cross River, for instance, people used to have their meetings, evening meetings, sometimes up till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, but that doesn't happen anymore. Before 6 o'clock, most churches have finished with their evening programs, and you know that people go to work, so by the time people come back from work, maybe get back home to change, eat before they get back to church, they don't have enough time. So it affects the church. People do not have enough time to worship God. People do not have enough time to go to church and do their Bible studies and so on. So certainly the impact is on the church, and it is a negative impact. People cannot hold their vigil nights again. People cannot pray, have long sessions to pray. For us as a church, our weapon is not carnal. It is prayer that is our weapon. So if we cannot gather, to pray, it's a big problem. We have a big problem in our hands.
All right, Dr. Lawrence, stay with us. We will check in with you very briefly again. Let's cross over live to Kaduna, where Dr. John Hayab is also with us. Dr. John, there are those who think that maybe the church in the northern region should apply more caution. I mean, we understand the level of insecurity at this time. Wasn't it expected that the church should have probably gone on that journey, the 8 members for the outreach program, with some sort of security attachment to their trip?
It will interest Nigerians to know that the road they took is considered to be the safest road in the recent times. So if we have a government that's supposed to secure us and she's not doing what is expected of her, and what people would think is that we're supposed to stop what we are doing because of certain things, the fact about it is that the church strives in evangelism. Outreach programs are part of the live wire of every living church. Churches cannot stop doing those things that keep the church alive just because things are not going well. Yeah, we have to be cautious. Yeah, we are going to apply some discreet wisdom, some other things, steps to be sure we don't expose ourselves to danger, which is a lesson we are learning through this. But I think instead of just asking people to stop doing it, why don't we remind those whose primary responsibility is to secure us, is to protect us, is to ensure that nothing happens to us. If they fail, then this is where the problem is. If we go by this thing you are saying, tomorrow we will even ask people not to go to the market again. Tomorrow, because even now we begin to ask children not to go to school. So when people do not go to the market, when people do not go to farm, when people do not go to church, when people do not go to evangelism, when people do not go out for any other thing, then you can imagine the kind of society we are going to be, a non-productive society. And if our society is no longer productive, you know how it is going to be. Whether we like it or not, the church is contributing to many developmental things about Nigeria. So when we evangelize, we don't just evangelize to abandon the people. We evangelize to groom them, to train them, to build them up, to be responsible citizens, to be productive citizens. So when we now start having an issue that, okay, do we stop doing this thing? Then we are saying that our effort and contribution to nation building should stop. And when we stop,
we do understand that, Dr. John Hayab, because we're pressed for time and we need to begin to wind down on our conversation tonight. Any word yet about how the church intends to go about paying this ransom. What figures are you getting? I mean, you are a resident in Kaduna. Any figures about what the church intends to do about this 50 million ransom the kidnappers are asking for?
It's not 50 naira. It's not 5,000. It's not 50,000. It's not 5 million. It's not 500,000. 50 million is huge money. If we have 50 million, we will invest on lives and empower even community that those who are bandits would benefit. So to ask us for 50 million is like just wanting to use an excuse to do evil. And that's why we are really disturbed about this. How on earth can we get 50 million to give bandit? And if we give bandit 50 million, are they not going to come back again for other church members? So these are the issues and the questions people are asking. That's why instead of talking about whether we're going to give them money or not, we talk about those who are responsible to secure Nigeria. Because what we call Nigeria as a government, and the responsibility of government is to secure citizens and secure their properties. That is not happening today in Nigeria, but all we see is rhetoric and no action.
Dr. Hayab, just one final question before I let you go. As a man of God, is it becoming more difficult by the day to preach the message of hope to Christians around you or the Christian community in the face of these very recent kidnappings and attacks?
It is true, it's becoming difficult. It takes a lot of courage for one to continue to preach, for one to continue to practice his faith, for one to continue to even go out there because you don't know what is going to happen. But I want to believe that those who are tormenting us do not understand how the church grew. The church grew when she suffers persecution. You may have kidnapped 8 members of Redeem, but you've not yet kidnapped the church. The church will continue to move on. The church will continue to stand. The church will continue to grow. So we are appealing to these kidnappers. Reduce the doom that will come upon yourself and release these people. Because when you touch God's people who are out for God's mission, you are not fighting them, but you are fighting God. And if God turns to fight you, you cannot stand. So we want them to change their mind, to release these people, and not only to release all Nigerians who are in captivity. Enough of this enemy criminality. If you are angry with government, face government and tell them what you are angry with them about. Why going after your innocent citizens who have nothing? The fact that they are suffering even worse than you, and you are tormenting their lives.
All right, Dr. Hayab, thank you so much. Let's see now if we have Dr. Lawrence back with us in Calabar, the PFN chairman in Cross River State. Dr. Lawrence, if you can hear me loud and clear, what are the ways forward in your opinion?
For me, I believe it is time to declare a state of emergency on security in Nigeria. It is very troubling, it's very disturbing. And what worries me sometimes so much is the fact that somebody or people are kidnapped today, in the next 1 or 2 hours, somebody says he's in contact with those people. It's as if it's a chain, it's as if they have agents. That means they know the people. Have their contacts, they know where they are, and they negotiate on their behalf. So it's very disturbing. Is it that it's deliberate? Is it that it's a business? Why would people be kidnapped in a few hours? Some other people will say they can negotiate, they can reach them. They are communicating with them. That means that it's not just happening. It's a deliberate thing. It's a plan. It's a business. So my concern is that people should come together. Let us talk in a round table. Let people come together and express their minds, because it's difficult for you to convince somebody knows where people are. Somebody is negotiating on their behalf, and the security cannot reach them to get them. So let us know, is it a business? Is it because if we didn't know them, or if somebody is not in touch with them, people say they can That's my worry.
We are absolutely pressed for time. Indeed, these are really very, very big questions begging for answers, and we do hope that things would turn out better in the coming days. Thank you so much, Dr. Lawrence, for agreeing to speak with Galaxy TV.
Thank you.
All right, we'd like to thank you most kindly, gentlemen. Dr. Lawrence Kwok, live from Calabar, the Cross River State capital, is the chairman of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PF, and Cross River State. And of course, earlier we spoke to the chairman, Kaduna State chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Dr. John Joseph Hayab, live in Calabar. This is Firecrackers. Let's see if we can quickly touch on something else on the show before we round off tonight. It has to do with the issue of COVID-19 passports. I mean, it does appear that we're getting to a stage where before you make some certain journeys, you need that passport. Joining us live tonight is the virologist, Professor Oyewale Tomori, live from Abuja, the nation's capital. Prof, if you are with us tonight, what's your position to start with, Professor Tomori, about this issue of COVID vaccines, COVID passports? Some other persons even describe it as COVID documents or COVID certificates. Professor Tomori. All right, I'm not sure. We've just lost connection with Professor Oyewale Tomori live in Abuja. This is Firecrackers. Well, we thought we could just speak very briefly with Professor Tomori, who has been trying to join us on the program tonight, but it does appear that the internet tonight has not been very, very friendly, so we do have to wrap up on the show tonight. But I'd like to thank you most kindly for being on the other side of the show. Hopefully we can touch on this aspect of the COVID-19 pandemic, the issue of COVID passports or COVID certificates or COVID documents, or some call it COVID card, whatever that means. This is Firecrackers. Get to see you again next week on the show. I am Kelly Egiga. God bless Nigeria.